Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to be diving into one of the most infamous missing persons cases in the entire world, and that is the case of Madeleine McCann. If you are unaware, some new information has actually come to light on this case very recently in 2020, so I will be including that information in this case, but aside from that, this case is still unsolved after 13 years. As I always say in the beginning of my videos, I am in no way professional. I do not work in any areas of crime investigation or law. I just simply like to review and learn about crime cases from all over the world. So all this information is from online sources that are available to you guys and the public. No disrespect is ever intended towards anyone I may mention in this video or any of my other videos. So with that being said, let's just dive on right into it. So Madeleine McCann was a 3-year-old girl born in Leicester in the UK. She lived with her mother and father, so Kate and Jerry McCann, and they were both doctors, as well as her 2 younger siblings who are twins. So on Saturday, the 28th of April in 2007, the McCann family went on a spring break holiday and checked into Praia de Luz, Portugal. The McCanns had plans to stay in Portugal for 1 week, and they actually checked into their hotel, which was also known as Little Britain, just because there was so many British tourists that actually holidayed there, but also had or owned villas or small houses in the area. The McCanns checked into their apartment, which was apartment 5A in the Oceans Club, and it was just a 2-story apartment on the ground level. So around the McCanns' apartment, there was also obviously other apartment complexes. So they actually had 7 of their other friends staying in these other complexes in the resort. These other friends of the McCanns also had young children just like themselves, and they actually were referred to as the Tapas 9, and they would be, hanging out and chilling out together over this week-long visit in Portugal. So flashing forward a few days to May the 3rd, 2007, this day started off as any normal day for the McCann family. The kids started off the day by going down to the kids club in the resort, and then later that day they returned to have lunch with the family, and then they were all going to head down to the pool together. After they had been at the pool for some time, Kate actually took Madeleine and the twins back to the apartment while Jerry went off to have a 1-hour tennis lesson within the resort. After this, the children had dinner, but Kate and Jerry didn't eat with the kids because they were going to have dinner down at the tapas bar with their friends later that night. So 8 p.m. rolled around and Jerry and Kate put Madeleine and the twins to bed. While they were waiting for their children to fall asleep, Kate and Jerry had a glass of wine together, and then they headed out to the tapas bar to meet their friends for dinner. So the tapas bar was located in the resort, just like the apartment complexes. However, it was sort of on the opposite side. So once you are out of the apartment, you would have to walk past the pool, which was in the middle, and then you would reach the tapas bar. So if you were actually sitting at the tapas bar, there was a view of the apartment complexes on the other side. So the McCanns and their friends would actually have dinner at this particular tapas bar every single night at the same time and also at the same table. And they would often alternate and take it in turns to go and check on the children while they were sleeping, just to make sure everything was okay. So at 8:55 p.m, the routine checks on the children started, and the first to go was Matt Oldfield. He was going to go check on his own children in his own apartment. Closely after this was Jerry McCann, who went to go check on Madeleine and the twins at 9:05 p.m. So the McCanns would actually leave the patio door unlocked to the apartment, but they would close the drapes. So they did this because on previous nights they would go check on the children, but they actually found that the front door was quite noisy and would always wake up the kids. They thought it would just be an easier and quicker way to check on them, and also they had to leave the patio door unlocked because it could only be locked from the inside. So when Jerry first entered the apartment to check on the kids, he realized that the door to the bedroom was a lot more open than what they had left it. They had left it almost closed. So he just thought that maybe Madeleine had gotten up and was just in the apartment. Maybe she went to their room to see if they were there. So he had a quick look around to see if Madeleine was just in the apartment somewhere, but then quickly realized that Madeleine and the twins were sound asleep in their beds. He then left the apartment and went downstairs back towards the tapas bar, where he actually ran into another tourist that they were friends with by the name of Jeremy Wilkins. He was not at dinner that night because he had children of his own and they just weren't settling down to go to sleep, so he had to stay with them and accompany them, so he missed out on dinner that night. They just stood and had a small chat, and at the same time, another friend who was at the dinner, Jane Tanner, was walking past to check on her own children in her apartment. Jane says that she saw Jerry and Jeremy talking, but they did not see her because she just quickly kept on walking to check on her own kids. Jane also says she saw a man walking away from the apartment complex who was holding a little girl in pink pajamas who looked as though she was asleep or limp in his arms. Jane obviously didn't think anything of this. This is a very normal thing, I feel, to see when you're away on holiday. Kids get tired, maybe they fell asleep at dinner and their parent is just taking them back to the apartment to put them to bed. So again, she thought nothing of it and kept going to check on her children. So at 9:30 p.m, Kate McCann went to check on her own children, but Matt Oldfield actually offered to check on Madeleine and the twins because he was on his way to check on his own children anyway. Kate agreed and Matt then went off to check on Madeleine, the twins, and his own children. So when Matt entered the McCann's apartment to check on their children, he noticed that the bedroom door was open again. However, he didn't think anything of it because obviously he would not know if the McCanns left their children's bedroom door open or a little bit open or completely closed. So he didn't think anything of it, but that is what he remembers. From sources online, it seems as though Matt didn't have a really good look in the apartment. He just had a little bit of a glance. He says that he recalls seeing the twins sleeping, but he can't 100% recall if he saw Madeleine in her bed or not. And he also can't say for sure if the window was open or closed. So from that, it seems like he didn't really have a really good look. He just had a glance to make sure everything was okay. Now 10 p.m. has rolled around and Kate McCann is off to check on Madeleine and the twins. And when she enters the apartment, she goes to open the bedroom door and it kind of slams shut in her hand. She got into the bedroom and realized that the window was open, and that's why the door had slammed shut from the wind that had pushed it. She looked down and saw the twins sleeping soundly in their bed, but looked over at Madeleine's bed and she was gone. Once Kate realized this, she rushed out of the apartment, rushed down to the tapas bar where all her friends were to let Jerry and all her friends know that Madeleine was missing. And there's a weird thing about this, well, two weird things about this. One, when Kate got down to the tapas bar, she exclaimed, "They've taken her." I think this is a little bit strange. You would think that you would just say Madeleine is gone or Madeleine is missing. You wouldn't say they've taken her. Who is they? The second thing is that Kate left her two younger sleeping twins in the apartment that her daughter has just gone missing from. I'm not a mother, so maybe Kate's instinct was just to find Madeleine and get her back safe, but I would think that if your daughter has just gone missing from this apartment, you would deem it unsafe and you would pick up your other two younger vulnerable children and take them out of the apartment for safety reasons. So once everyone had come to terms with what happened, Jane then said, "Oh my God, like I saw a guy carrying a small child in pink pajamas just before." They then rushed down to the front desk and reported this to staff, and they called the police, and at 10:30 p.m. the police arrived. They proceeded to search for Madeleine on foot. They used sniffer dogs, they used hotel staff, and even other tourists that were staying in the resort tried to help. Jerry and Kate McCann actually didn't join in on the search. They actually stayed in the apartment while the search was going on for their daughter. Later that night, Jerry and Kate made a statement to the press just asking, you know, if you've got Madeleine, please bring her back safe, or if anyone has any information, then to please contact police. This could have helped or worsened the case. If the abductor that took Madeleine may have seen this, then it may give them more of a motive to run or possibly even kill her. So during this time, there was so many people going in and out of the McCann's apartment, and this is where Madeleine went missing from. So it should have been treated like a crime scene, and there could have been a lot of DNA evidence in there, and because of the amount of people going in and out, it could have destroyed and contaminated this evidence that could have ultimately assisted the case to find Madeleine. The border guards were also not alerted until hours after Madeleine was reported missing, so someone could have crossed the border with her already, especially if they knew the area. So Jane described the man that she had seen earlier with the young girl in the resort as dark-haired, maybe in his 30s or 40s, 5'7", and that he did not look like a tourist. This also corroborated with an Irish couple who also saw this man of the same appearance, who appeared to be holding a young girl with blonde hair who looked about 3 to 4 years old, and she was wearing pink pajamas. The Irish couple also said this man did not look like a tourist. So police looked for this guy for years after Madeleine disappeared, but still nothing seems to have been confirmed to come from this. So the first real suspect in this case was a man by the name of Robert Murat, and he actually lived in a villa about 137 meters away from the apartment where Madeleine went missing. Robert Murat was actually really helpful in assisting police and translating information between police and the McCanns, because obviously there was a lot of different people from different cultures here, so he was very helpful in translating all different languages. And for some reason, a journalist actually approached police reporting him, saying that Robert Murat she just had a gut feeling that something was up about him and that he seemed very suspicious, but I have no idea why this particular journalist felt this way about Murat. I don't know what he did to make her feel that way. Robert Murat had an alibi for this night when Madeleine McCann went missing. He says that he was in his kitchen and he was actually just speaking with his mother at around 8 p.m. and onwards when she got home. His mother obviously corroborates this and says that yes, she got home at 8 p.m. and after that they were just speaking in the kitchen for hours. Police searched his house and actually brought in sniffer dogs twice, but still nothing came from this and he was just cleared as a suspect. Jerry and Kate McCann soon became very big suspects in their daughter's disappearance, and a lot of people actually thought that they had killed their daughter. There's a theory that the McCanns accidentally killed their daughter Madeleine and they tried to cover it up by making it look like a disappearance or an abduction, just so they wouldn't get in trouble. So it was said that the McCanns used to give their children sedatives while they went out and had dinner with their friends, just so the children wouldn't wake up or cry while they were out of the apartment. The theory is that maybe the McCanns gave Madeleine too much of this sedative and that it was a fatal dose. The only thing I find hard to believe with this theory is that Kate and Jerry McCann were both doctors, so I think they would know how much of a sedative to give their children so that it was not a fatal dose. Another theory is that Madeleine had a reaction to this sedative and passed away while she was sleeping while the McCanns were out at dinner, and this could therefore give them a motive to hide the body so they wouldn't get into trouble. But again, I just find this theory hard to believe. Adding to this theory, a lot of people think that the sketch of the guy with the girl in the pink pajamas looked a lot like Jerry, and that all their friends were in on it and they were trying to cover up Madeleine's death by hiding the bodies again so they wouldn't get in trouble. So it is said that the McCanns have spent something around 11 million euros to search for Madeleine, hire private investigators, etc., which is a lot of money. This is why I don't believe that they were involved, because who on earth would spend this much money if they knew Madeleine was deceased or they knew where they had hidden her body? 11 million euros is so much money, so I don't think they would have spent all that if it was them. The theory is that Madeleine was just abducted by a complete stranger. This stranger may have seen her by the pool or in the resort the days leading up to her disappearance. They may have knew that the McCanns and their friends sat at this particular table at this particular time every single night, and may have known that Madeleine would have been alone in her apartment at this time. It's also said that this could have been a burglary gone wrong, which I don't really believe. I don't think someone would have come in to just steal a few things and then jumped to abduction. If Madeleine may have seen this intruder, he or she would have just gotten out of there, gotten out of the apartment. I don't think they would have abducted her or killed her because she was so young. It's also said that this could be a sex trafficking crime. If someone abducted her, they may have crossed the border or be in multiple different countries and may have sold her again. There has been something like 9,000 different sightings in 101 different countries of Madeleine McCann. So this brings people to believe that some of these sightings may well be actually her and that she is still alive, but she is just in the sex trafficking ring. Now, just recently in June of 2020, a new suspect has come to light by the name of Christian B, and he is a German prisoner. He's 43 years old and he has 2 previous convictions of sexual assault and some form of drug charges. I'm not entirely sure. He has been linked to 2 vehicles, a camper van and a Jaguar in Portugal, and he was also breaking into holiday homes in the same area that Madeleine disappeared from at the same time. Investigators were told by one of Christian's friends that he had made some disturbing comments when he saw the 10-year anniversary of the disappearance of Madeleine McCann come up on TV. I have no idea what those disturbing comments that were made by Christian about Madeleine McCann's case. They're still investigating this guy as I speak, so I will hopefully have some more information for you soon. It might take them a little bit of time, but if I do have any updated information, I'll add it down in the comment section, or I will post it at the beginning of maybe one of my future videos if it does take a little bit longer for them to get some information. So that is actually all the information I have on this case to date. As I said before, authorities are investigating this new suspect, this German prisoner, so hopefully maybe something will come to light from that. This case is still unsolved after 13 years, as I said, so authorities still have no idea if Madeleine is still alive or not. If she is alive, she would be a lot older now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.